I just watched all the Super Bowl trailers and they were not good. This is one of the worst years in Super Bowl anything. The only redeeming thing about this year was the Bad Bunny halftime show. Everything else, the football, the commercials, and the trailers were not good. And I want to go over all of the trailers because they were all bad for their own reasons. Also, my cat Mortimer's here because he loves Super Bowl commercials. One of my favorite commercials is the Super Bowl commercial. It was the Herding Cats commercial. It was so funny and it had cats in it and I love it. I think about it all the time. First thing about the Super Bowl ads that were notable is that there were a couple of things that were not there. A couple of big movies. In fact, all the big movies pretty much weren't there. Now, not to say that the movies that were there will not make bazillions of dollars, because I guarantee you 2 of those movies that we saw trailers for will be in the top 5 highest grossing movies of the year. It may be the highest grossing movie of the year, frankly. But I don't think it feels like a big release the same way that like Odyssey feels like a big release, or Doomsday, or Spider-Man, or Dune 3. Like, we have a bunch of big movies coming out this year. And also all the ones I mentioned have Zendaya in them, probably, if she's in Doomsday. But like, I don't know, just first of all, not an incredibly good showing. Like, I understand apparently it costs $10 million to have an ad in this Super Bowl. That is too much money. Like, that is way too much money. If you look at a movie that costs $100 million, they say it costs like that much to promote or something like that. Like, that is a tenth of $100 million marketing budget is just a Super Bowl trailer. And now I guess you got to ask the question, like, what's a Super Bowl trailer for? Because they don't all serve the same purpose. Some Super Bowl trailers are there to introduce you to a movie, to get something on your radar. Some Super Bowl trailers are taking a movie that is already on your radar and showing you something new, being like, this is why you should be excited for this. Like, I would say a good example of one that I think worked, even though the movie wasn't incredibly successful, was like the Thunderbolts one from last year. Wasn't the greatest trailer ever, didn't get the most hype, but like, it did show you something new, and maybe, you know, that's part of the problem with that movie is they showed too much. But either way, like, the vibe coming out of it was like, that was fun, that was exciting. Whereas these, just not. Okay, so let's do 2 kids movies real quick. Let's pop these out of the way. These are the 2 that I think are going to make an insane amount of money. There was a trailer for a new Minions movie, Minions 3, Minions vs. Monsters, Minions and Monsters. And then there was a trailer for the new Super Mario Brothers movie, Super Mario Galaxy. I've never seen a Minions movie. I've never seen any movie with Minions in it. I don't know if they've shown up in like a Lego movie or something as cameos. But like, I have not seen a Minions movie or a Despicable Me movie. And I think that's great. If you enjoy the Minions, that's fine. I honestly, this trailer didn't hate it. The idea of the Minions going up against monsters, like classic, you know, horror movie monsters, that could be fun. Trying to make movies and like trying to find the right villains for their movie. That's cool. There was a part of it where I was like, oh, they're actually going to summon Cthulhu. That's kind of fun. But then it's like a little guy and it's not as fun. It still could be fun. But either way, those movies are not for me. I'm sure a lot of kids saw that trailer and were like, oh, cool, Minions movie. And that's great. Then you have Super Mario Galaxy. And I honestly can't remember if we saw more than this. But the main part of the trailer, the part I remember watching on TV, was Baby Mario, the T-Rex, Baby Luigi, and Yoshi. And Toad, I think. And I thought that was fine. I think that movie is also going to make an insane amount of money. I think there's a good chance that is the highest grossing movie of the year. I think there's a lot of fun stuff there in that movie. I'm excited for Brie Larson, Rosalina. I'm excited for Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr. for some reason. And you know, the dinosaur was something in Super Mario Odyssey. So, you know, maybe people get excited for that. I don't know. All right, but those were the big ones. Speaking of kids movies, we did get a little bit more of a look at Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This was apparently in the Puppy Bowl. Which, you know, I think smart. It doesn't really matter at this point how you get your trailer out there. You just want people talking about it. The problem with that one is just I don't think the trailer was very good. Like, I don't think we saw very much stuff. I mean, just the first trailer, a little shorter, with some bits with Crypto and Argo City. I don't know. Maybe part of it is just I'm not an enormous dog person, but the fact that we are 2 Superman movies in and the marketing for them has been like, look at this dog. Just, I don't know, whatever. I still think that movie, based on what we've seen, is like not visually up to where it needs to be. I'm not saying like the effects look bad. I think they look fine, but I just think the design of the movie, the colors are very muted, very brown. And people have said, well, maybe that's just the first planet she's on. Maybe they go to other planets. It's possible. Certainly possible. But what I think is so interesting about Supergirl is it is very explicitly more than Superman, more than Clayface, an adaptation of an existing work, and then it's Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And say what we do about the story, that's pretty subjective. I've never seen anybody making the argument that this book is not gorgeous. And frankly, like, that is the thing that I think they need to be showing here. And I think there's a good chance that's here. This movie comes out in like 5 months, so they're probably still finalizing some effects, but I also think like they should have some big stuff for us. I personally don't understand why we got the Lobo reveal just in the middle of nowhere and not here. That trailer plus the sting that shows like full Lobo, that would have been enough, I would say, to make it immediately the most interesting trailer at this Super Bowl. But instead, that was just kind of thrown online one day. I don't know. I think this movie could be good. I'm worried about changes to the source material only because the source material works, and it's what people love about this story. If you take away the color, and if you take away the simplicity of the True Grit narrative, like, what are you left with? Is this gonna be worth it? Are people gonna be excited for this? And I don't know, especially because like DC is advertising the comic. They're like, buy this comic, which is great. I love that. But if people do that, they're gonna read the comic, and then you see the movie and go, oh, that's not as cool looking as this. And obviously there's limitations, but movies about space can look pretty cool. And you know how I know that? Because one of the other trailers we saw today was the Project Hail Mary trailer. Now, I have tried as hard as I could not to be spoiled by this, because many people in my life have read this book, and they've said, oh, it's great. Try not to see any of the trailers. And I said, that's going to be tough, because they put trailers out like a year before the movie came out. But like, I have tried. I have shielded my eyes in the movie theater like I'm watching a horror movie, just because I don't want to see the thing that I pretty much already know what it is. And I'm not going to spoil it. I won't say what it is. I do think people get really touchy about spoilers, and I think that impulse makes sense, but I also think people take it too far. And we've seen studies that say that, like, you enjoy a movie as much, if not more, if you are spoiled some of the details in it. I think there's a difference too between like a spoiler being like a plot detail and a spoiler being like a twist or a surprise, right? Like, at this point, the people making the movie do not seem to think it is a spoiler what they're putting in this trailer, clearly. And I think they know, like, we need to market this thing, and it seems like they got a hit on their hands. And I agree. Everything I've seen so far, I think looks great. And like, I think if this was a different movie, one that people were more on board with, and maybe like kind of Avengers Endgame, they could go into it with a really, really short trailer, like Project Hail Mary, Ryan Gosling, space, and then that's it. That would be awesome. And then everybody that reads the book would be like, cool, don't say anything else. And everybody else would be like, oh yeah, I want to see that. But I think they know, like, they have to show other stuff. I think overall, this is the best trailer at this Super Bowl. This movie just looks really gorgeous. It looks very fun. I will say, like, if you're on the fence, don't watch the trailer. I have not seen this movie yet, but if it is as good as the studio that is putting out trailers a year in advance seems to think, like, I think this is going to be a solid movie, and knowing less might be better. At least, you know, give yourself that option. But I do think based on other ads and merchandise, I think it's going to be hard to avoid them. Still, I'm not going to say what they are. But yeah, this trailer looks fun, probably because this movie looks fun. I think it'll be a pretty big hit. And I imagine what they wanted here, what the advertising team wanted, was just people to be thinking about this movie. I don't think they wanted to necessarily sell people on it. I think they want people to know there's a movie where Ryan Gosling is in space. And then next time you hear about it, you hear about a really positive review or something, like, oh yeah, that thing from the Super Bowl, oh, that must be a real big deal. And then you go see it. So I think successful. Then there was also a Scream 7 trailer, which, like, I have no interest in this, besides not being an enormous fan of the Scream movies. Everything that's been going on since they fired that one actor for what looked like very, very tame Instagram posts, like, in hindsight, considering like where we are on the Israel and Palestine conflict, like, as a culture. But like, the fact that they fired her is insane. But apparently they were also doing something with Kashi, like one of the betting apps where you could bet on which character you think is going to die or be the killer or something like that. It's a horrible idea, because there's lots of people that know this, and like, prediction markets are their own thing, right? Like, I have said in many videos, I think gambling is bad. I think it can be addicting for a lot of people. For some people, it could be fun. I buy some Super Bowl boxes while I'm watching the Super Bowl, just, for the fun of it. But like, going in on all these prop bets, it just doesn't seem healthy. And obviously, because of the ads these companies are running, they're making a lot of money, which means they're getting it from somebody. But then you've also got these prediction markets now, which will let you put money down, because they don't like it when you say bet. But so you can put money down on anything. And I think that is incredibly unhealthy. Like, say what you will about sports betting, but you can avoid it, right? If we were putting prediction markets onto the movie trailers and the news, like, what is a person who's addicted to gambling supposed to do? They're just supposed to go, I guess I'll never look at anything again, because this is all anything will be. I don't know. I mean, there's a million reasons not to do it. My recommendation to people, and I do think part of this is a problem with phones and like any app that's trying to notify you constantly and get you to like make a bet and look at this new game and these props. I would say, like, I know this is going to sound dumb, and maybe you already have it, but like, start using it more. Is just get Marvel Unlimited or DC Infinite or one of the apps you can use to read comics. I think, personally, things on my phone where I will scroll and scroll and scroll. Like when I am in the bathroom and I'm just sitting and scrolling on my phone, I always feel like at the end I wasted the time. There's always ads I don't want to see. Like, if your new routine, instead of go on your phone and just open some apps and see what's up, look at your notifications, because then you're going to have the notifications from the betting apps, because maybe you want to bet a little bit. If you can do it legally and it's fun, it's not like intrusive for your life, that's fine. But instead of being directed to these apps constantly, or like Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever, when you sit down somewhere, you got some time to kill, just open up Marvel Unlimited, read a comic, pick a series, pick like the Outback era or something of X-Men. You can find those reading orders. They do a really good job like curating that. But like, A, you'll read more comics, and you'll read some really, really good comics probably, and B, like, you will feel like you have a little bit more control over your life. I don't know, this is just a thought I've had recently. I hate a lot of things, but like, I hate gambling. Clearly, there are a lot of problems in the world today. I don't want to say sports gambling and prediction markets are the worst thing that's happening currently, but I do think it's genuinely really bad for some people, and like overall as an industry, it was not meant to be everywhere. So like, I don't know, if you find yourself betting on a lot of stuff, I feel for you. Because there's resources, I'm sure, to help you, stop that addiction, stop that cycle. Those resources are like, hey, don't go to Atlantic City and play blackjack too much. Not like, hey, don't turn on the news and kind of wonder who's going to be the president of Venezuela in a couple days. So I don't know. It's bad. Also, the news. I watched the Turning Point USA halftime show because I was curious. I really wanted to see what they would make. I think they should do that every year. I would love an alternative, like, Bizarro World halftime show. I don't want to say we got to get Kid Rock every year, because I don't think he'll be able to capture that magic of him, like, poorly lip syncing to his own songs. It's truly, like, one of the worst live performances I've ever seen, but I think it's kind of like The Room, where, like, if you let Tommy Wiseau make a second movie, you'll just get that again. Whereas I think it would be really cool if they had to find new artists every year who would put together like a just mind-numbing halftime show. And like, it's so funny because the Bad Bunny one was so cool. I didn't understand a word he was saying. Well, that's not true. I understood some of the words. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know most of the words. But like, A, I was having a good time. It's fun music. B, the production was insane. It was so impressive. Also, Kid Rock is like 60 years old at least, right? Like, that's pretty old to be kid anything. I think when he's 40, it's a little bit ironic and like, oh, you're not a kid anymore. But like when he's 60, it's like very weird and sad. And I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what he should do with that. But I do know because they had him come out and sing like a country song and not his Kid Rock outfit. But I'm willing to bet that his fans will want the Kid Rock outfit back. Like, that's what they want to see. Also, if you're like, oh, you gotta speak English, it's the halftime show, it's America. What are the lyrics of the song that Kid Rock sings? All the... Like, it's not Shakespeare. It's all just noises coming from him. So, like, why do you care if you can't understand what this guy's saying? Also, Pedro Pascal and Jessica Alba were there. I wish Michael B. Jordan was there. And then the guy who played the Thing in the original Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie. So you could have had all four. You had all the Fantastic Four guys together having a good time. That would have been fun. Only for me. No one would have cared but me. Also, Bad Bunny, obviously you're a big star. I can't tell you what your next move should be. Come back to El Muerto. El Muerto could be cool. It would be very funny if after the Spunk, the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, was long dead, Bad Bunny just came in and made one really fun El Muerto movie, and then that became the entirety of Sony. It's like, God, I guess we gotta make a Spider-Man movie and like an El Muerto sequel. We couldn't get Kraven to work, we couldn't get Morbius to work, we barely get Venom to work, but like, El Muerto, that's what the people want. Okay, but then the last trailer. And I really want to spend some time here, because this trailer and this movie and this everything has me worried. And this is for a movie called Disclosure Day. It had a trailer that came out a little while ago, and then we got this new trailer. Honestly, there was some new footage in it. I'm not sure how much, because it all kind of blends together. But this is the one, if you'd seen it before, where Emily Blunt does click noises, and she's a weather person or something. And it's like, oh my God, it's a big conspiracy. This movie is directed by Steven Spielberg, who is, without a doubt, one of our greatest living blockbuster movie directors. One of our greatest living, all kinds of movie directors. But specifically, when you look at like Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, Jaws, like, he just knows how to make these. And it's not like he's fully lost it either, because he made Fablemans, and Fablemans was great. I didn't love Ready Player One, but like, it's a weird property. What are you going to do? This movie is written by David Koepp, who has a record that is all over the place. Some things that are amazing, some things that are pretty good, and like, oh, it's the guy who wrote the Spider-Man movie, the first one, or it's the guy that wrote Jurassic Park movie. That's fun. And then some recent stuff like Black Box, I'm like, oh, that movie was great. And then like the new Jurassic World movie, where I'm like, oh, I don't think that was very good. So like, I'm not trying to say that I think this movie will be bad. What I'm saying is, If it did not have those two names attached to it, this trailer would look like nothing to me. Like, it would just, they're not even kind of selling me on this movie. And this isn't me trying to trash it and dunk on Steven Spielberg. Why would I want to do that? The man has the Oscar that he showed in the Austin Powers cameo that he did, which is amazing. But I just don't know what to do with this movie, and I'm not convinced they know what to do with it either. Because we're getting these trailers. I don't want to say it looks generic, because it doesn't. It has kind of a look. It's going for almost like a spy movie, because that's what this seems to be about, is someone has information, probably about aliens, or maybe something like aliens, and they're going to disclose it. So they're calling it Disclosure Day. I don't know if the government is disclosing it or some other person is disclosing it, but either way, that's the title for the movie. In the end of this trailer, you see a spaceship, so that's at least something. And I don't think you need to just like show what it is. I just think these trailers have not even kind of sold me on this movie. And I really liked Wake Up Dead Man. I am very on the Josh O'Connor as a star train. Like, I think he's great. I like Emily Blunt enough. Coleman Domingo's in this movie, that's fun. But just like, first of all, I cannot tell you what this movie's about, right? I've already kind of tried to explain the plot, and you can tell I don't have all the details. Don't think you need all the details. I really can't compare this movie to anything either, partially because it's maybe doing a new thing, but also partially just because I can't figure out what it's doing. It feels most like a political thriller, because people running around and they're being chased and there's secrets, where the political thriller just happens to be aliens. I think the CGI with the deer still does not look good. And I don't think it needs to be perfect, but I think if you're going to show it, it should be good, and it should at least be like cool. And I don't think this image is either of those things. Like, it doesn't look incredibly polished, but it also isn't the kind of thing that I'm like, oh my God, they put a deer in a room. Like, it's, you know, would have been hard. Like, if you told me that the spaceship at the end of this trailer, like, that was kind of a special effect that was still being worked on, I'd be like, that's fine. It looks good. It tells me spaceship. That's exciting. It's got some personality, and you want to show people that the spaceship is part of the movie. That I have no idea why the animals have been such a big fixture in this marketing. And again, I'm not saying that the trailer needs to tell me everything. I do think a trailer like this needs to tell a story. There needs to be a narrative that is created. Trailers have first, second, and third acts, just like every other story. And you know, not every story needs those, but like a good trailer has them. They tend to follow like the structure of the movie, but like I think you can, kind of like with Project Hail Mary, create a good trailer without showing everything from the movie, just giving you the sense for what the movie's about, what you're going to feel like. Is it going to be fun? Is it going to be scary? Is it going to be daring? Maybe it's going to be all those things. This movie, A, does not appear to be humorous, which is fine. Not every movie has to be. I think most of Spielberg's great action movies are incredibly funny, but like all those moments probably wouldn't play in the trailer. I'm not sure what the trailer for Jurassic Park looked like. I have a feeling it did not have that shot where the guy runs into the bathroom and then gets eaten by the T-Rex, and Malcolm says,
when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Very funny. And again, I'm not saying I think this movie is bad. I am saying it is being marketed poorly. I am seeing trailers for it around other people who are confused. I think you could almost show nothing with the name Steven Spielberg, and then maybe show a spaceship or something, and then say Disclosure. Also, I think the title Disclosure Day is bad. It should be called Disclosure or something, or The Day. I don't know. That's a little too generic, but like Disclosure Day feels too much. I also think there's certain imagery in this trailer that I'm just not like that into. Like, they show a character standing in the middle of a crop circle, and the crop circle is like making itself around him. And while I think that is kind of a cool idea, I think after Signs, which was 20 years ago, we all learned that crop circles are just a hoax, right? Like, it'd be like a movie now getting really into like the Aztec calendar. Oh, it's gonna run out in 2012, and it's like, no, we lived through that. That's not real. It's not scary anymore. It's not that interesting. It kind of makes you seem kind of out of touch. It's like, I didn't love that image. I think the clicking alien sound is something that has just been done a lot. I think this movie needs more specifics. Like, I think, honestly, if they played it seriously, like if the trailer seemed to be a TV broadcast that was cut in, like, oh, we got news of a person who's saying weird things on TV, we take you live, and you see Emily Blunt, and we go, oh, this is a movie, but at least you'd be like, oh, interesting. But like, I just did not get anything from it. I'm worried just that this movie is going to work. And like, we're 2 trailers in, with the second one being the Superbowl trailer, and I don't think this movie is like where it needs to be. I hope it's good, but just in terms of just like looking at the advertising, not in love with it. I said that was the last trailer. It was not the last advertisement of the Super Bowl that was related to a movie, because there's one other movie that got an ad, even though we thought it was going to be a trailer. It seemed like it would be like a trailer showing the story of the movie. But in fact, it was not. It was, in fact, one of those parody commercials. I think sometimes they work, but it showed what seemed to be a Clydesdale towing something, probably Budweiser. Sam Elliott did a little monologue, fine. And then we pull back to see that it's actually Tauntauns, and that's actually Mandalorian and Grogu. It's like Mandalorian and Grogu movie. This was such a disappointment for me. And of all the movies that I knew were gonna have trailers, this was the one that I said, all right, you gotta tell me what this movie is. Like, you have to give me a reason to see this besides Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't think any of the trailers so far have told a story. Besides just, it's those guys you already like. And like, that could work in an Avengers Endgame situation, or like a Super Mario Galaxy situation. Star Wars is not the property for that right now. This is the first theatrically released Star Wars movie since 2019, and it stars and seems to because I genuinely am not sure what this movie is like gonna be. Is like Ahsoka gonna be in it? Are other characters that have kind of crossed over with these gonna show up? I don't know. And like, this is not a franchise that is bulletproof. Solo did not do very well. People did not like Star Wars Episode 9, and I think that left a bad taste in people's mouth. I also think people didn't love pretty much everything after Luke Skywalker showed up in Mandalorian Season 2 related to Mandalorian and Grogu. I think Season 3 was kind of a letdown. I think Mandalorian and Grogu meeting again in the Boba Fett show was a terrible choice. So if there was one franchise that I was like, don't be cute with people. Like, tell them what this movie is, play it seriously, because there's a lot of people that just do not care about this. And listen, maybe this will be incredibly successful. Maybe the presence of Grogu alone will turn it into an enormous hit, but I am skeptical. And this worked in the past where it's a commercial and it seems to be for something. Like, you could totally do a commercial with a Clydesdale or whatever, and then it turns out the Clydesdale is like Yoshi or something. And you're like, oh, Super Mario Brothers movie, fun. That doesn't really make sense because like they don't look like each other. But like, you know, they've made trailers like this before. But like, I'm pretty plugged into this stuff. I know Jeremy Allen White is in this movie. He's playing Rada the Hutt, a big jacked Jabba the Hutt guy. That looks pretty cool. Put that in the trailer so people can see it. I know Sigourney Weaver is in this movie. I know Mandalorian and Grogu are in the movie. I believe Zeb, the character Zeb, is in this movie. But like, what is it? Are they trying to get Rada the Hutt? Are people after them? Like, what is it about this movie that makes it something I need to see? And that's what I thought about the movie a couple days ago. After seeing this TV spot, I'm like, you guys didn't make the movie, right? It exists because it doesn't... See, this is what you would show if there actually wasn't a movie, but you did want to show us something. And you were like scrambling to finish the movie behind the scenes because you weren't sure what the movie was going to be yet. So you didn't want to tell anybody anything. I don't know. It's not a conspiracy or anything. It's just like, that's what that feels like. And like, I think this movie could be good for sure. But like, I feel like this trailer needed to show Rada the Hutt speaking or something, people reacting to him. We would see Jeremy Allen White. I think it could have gotten away with like Pedro Pascal, and then like Mandalorian, and then Sigourney Weaver, and then her character, like clip of her character, and then Jeremy Allen White, and then jacked Jabba the Hutt. And play it like a joke, because it is kind of a joke. And this is a movie for kids, right? It's Mandalorian and Grogu. And like, I'm not saying this movie has to be 100% serious, but you want to get people's attention, you do that. And I'm sure there will be a scene where someone like the Mandalorian reacts to Rada the Hutt and is like, whoa, look at you. And then that's all you need. Put that in the trailer. Like, after you show Rada the Hutt, we can kind of laugh at it. The baby can make a face, and then that's it. But I am shocked at like the lack of urgency it seems like for this movie, especially because this comes out in May. Supergirl at least a month later. Disclosure Day later in the summer. Project Hail Mary, March, but they've been advertising that forever. But this is like 4 months away, and I'm really starting to see the picture of like how this movie flops. We also saw a little kind of tease for Toy Story that just showed like Woody a little bit. It was not a very good tease. I keep forgetting it happened. And like, I think Toy Story, to be fair, is in a different spot. It does not need to prove itself to audiences. People see Toy Story, they will go to that movie. That will also top 5 highest grossing movie this year, almost guaranteed. I'm not sure where people are with Toy Story sequels. I can't remember what Toy Story 4 made, but like, I do think this movie looks interesting, the idea of the toys versus a tablet. But like, I think what you need with that movie is to get the word out. Like, we're making a movie about Toy Story. People are buying tickets that day. Also, the Ring camera commercial. Now we're just talking about commercials. Weird. This whole like, don't worry, we'll find your dog, or whatever we want to do when we like hack into your camera and just like use it to spy on you. It is nice that they're helping find people's pets, but like, man, that is a scary idea. Also, the Coinbase commercial that was a karaoke thing went on for way too long. I did not like it. All in all, bad year for trailers, bad year for commercials, bad year for Super Bowl. If I had to pick some winners, say Project Hail Mary is looking pretty good. Those two kids movies that were already going to make $1 billion are now going to continue to make $1 billion. And I think the big losers here were Disclosure Day and Mandalorian and Grogu. Oh, I totally forgot about one, by the way. The Cliff Booth movie, the sequel, the spiritual sequel, I guess, to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that multiple people at the Super Bowl party I was at assumed was a commercial where it was going to be for like Capital One or whatever, starring that character. They saw that and were not like, oh, a new movie. So that's not great. 2, I didn't need to see more of this character. I enjoyed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood enough because I think it's a well-made movie. I think Leo's great in it. It's full of people that are now stars. Like the cast for that movie, you go down the IMDb page, it is stacked, which isn't surprising. It's a Tarantino movie, but still, it's pretty interesting for that reason. I think after everything that went on with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and what seems to be a very like bad divorce breakup, and like you can read the police report about what happened, what Brad Pitt did according to the police report, how the kids and Angelina Jolie reacted to it. Again, this is all alleged because I wasn't there, but like, man, this seems like cut and dry. Don't put this guy in movies about a man who murdered his wife, which, like, looking back, it's weird that he was in that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie. Like, at least when that came out, I did not know about the domestic violence allegations against Brad Pitt. The fact that they're continuing with that character after this, especially Brad Pitt, who just made F1 an incredibly successful movie, I'm sure made him a boatload of money. He does not need to do this. Tarantino doesn't want to do it, I guess, because he's not making this. Is David Fincher for some reason. And this is pulling him off that Social Network movie that now is going to be made by Andrew Sorkin, and maybe it'll be great. But, like, I don't know. It's just nothing about this movie that I like. And it just blows my mind that in 2026, we are still making movies about Cliff Booth, the fictional character who killed his wife. And Brad Pitt is playing that guy. Like, what are we doing? You recast him? I still don't think it's a great idea for a movie, but that could work. I don't know. I'm very not into this movie. And it's interesting because, like, look back, you know, everything I've said, if Avengers Doomsday had a trailer that showed Doctor Doom, that would be the highest, like, profile thing. Now, I don't think they need that. I think if they put that on the internet one day, it'll get that same amount of reaction for less than $10 million. I think what they've been doing with their marketing, with the chair video and with the 4 different trailers, is actually pretty smart. And the movie doesn't come out, like, the end of this year, so they've got plenty of time to advertise it. But, like, man, just if they had showed an X-Men, that would have blown people's minds. And, like, speaking of the X-Men, I watched a video recently by one of my favorites, Lindsay, and it's about the bizarre continuity of the Fox X-Men movies. Specifically, the video is called Trying to Make Sense of the X-Men Cinematic Universe Timeline. In it, Lindsay and Angelina partially just sort of reminisce about the wonderful Fox X-Men movies and, like, what they meant to superhero cinema at the time, and also try to connect them all to each other in what is, you know, a fool's errand, and always has been for X-Men fans, but I think is a fun exercise and is a fun way to just, like, remember what we loved about these movies, kind of why they're fun and quirky. And that video is an hour and a half long. I don't know if technically it is longer than any X-Men movie to date. I would have to assume if it is, it's probably either X-Men Origins Wolverine or New Mutants or Dark Phoenix. Maybe those to me feel like they would be the shortest ones just because they're, like, not that great. But you can watch Lindsay's video right now exclusively on this video sponsor, Nebula. You guys have heard me talk about Nebula before. It is a subscription streaming service that I helped to create. A bunch of us video essayists, and I don't like call myself a content creator, but like content creators got together and were like, hey, these platforms we have to work with, they're great, but they have some problems. And the big one is we wanted to just make great videos, give them to you guys. We wanted to make a nice, clean, well-organized place where you can go to watch all of our videos. They all go up early, so every Nando V Movies video and Nando Cut video go up early. They're all ad-free. You can download them to your phone, which is a feature I don't hear nearly enough people talking about, but is incredibly useful. Like, if you don't want to have to eat up all your data or deal with the Wi-Fi at the gym or something, download some videos. You'll have them with you. The videos on Nebula are all made by real people, and that didn't used to have to be a selling point, but now I think it might be the best selling point. There's also all kinds of cool videos you can only find on Nebula. Like, Lindsay Ellis makes videos almost exclusively for Nebula. One of her most recent videos was about Bluey adults, and the one after that was about dash cam footage, so it really covers a pretty wide spectrum of things. Then you've got short films like Patrick Williams' Dinner Plan, or series like Maggie Mae Fish's Amy's Dead End Dream House. And you have what we haven't, like, fully announced, but will be coming out sometime next year, our show Subliminal. It's our first, like, dramatic series. I wrote an episode. I think it's pretty good. I've seen parts of it now because it's, like, coming together and been edited and all that, and, like, it looks great. I can't wait for you guys to see it. If you want to support us, give us more opportunities to do cool stuff like that, and you want to see our videos early, ad-free, download them and see other creators on Nebula, because all of your favorite creators and your next few favorite creators are on Nebula right now. Like, there's something for everybody. And a yearly subscription to Nebula is $60 for a whole year. That is $5 a month. go.nebula.tv/thenandocut or the link in the description, or you use the QR code. You can get a year of Nebula for just $30. That is $2.50 a month. It is an incredible deal. Again, that is go.nebula.tv/thenandocut.